1843, the year the Oregon Trail was opened and typewriters were invented. The year the Republic of Texas tried to prohibit alcohol by banning saloons. In the year Allan Poe wrote The Black Cat. Edgar Allan Poe was an aggressive critic, earned himself a reputation and the nickname Tomahawk Man. He was born in 1809 to actors Elizabeth and David Poe. David walked out on the family a year after Edgar was born. Eliza died while performing. The three children were sent to separate foster homes. Edgar's being with a married tobacco merchant named John Allan. John Allan and his wife Frances Allan changed Edgar's name to Allan, but never officially adopted him. Edgar had many jobs as editor or critic for various magazines. Most fired him because when his drinking was more than they could handle. Edgar often fought with John, refusing to follow him in the family business. And when Edgar's adoptive mother, Frances, died, John remarried without telling Edgar, and had a genuine son whom he favored more. And when John Allan died, he left Edgar out of his will. Poe's The Black Cat is a horror story about an unnamed man who reminisces over the events that came after he begins to abuse alcohol. The narrator recounts that he had been an animal lover and had many domesticated pets, as his wife and parents both helped him grow his collection. He had a dog, some birds, bunnies, goldfish. He also had a small monkey and a large black cat. The cat, Pluto, was his favorite. And as he played and fed Pluto stuck with him everywhere he went. The narrator told of how, when he began drinking, he would find himself in a dull mood. A quick temper put his wife and pets in danger as his drinking worsened. For a while, he was able to spare Pluto from his violent rage, but the cat, like everyone else, grew to fear him. He did attack the cat, who came back in a whole new body after trying to win back his master's love, only to have his master try to kill him. Considering how most horror stories go, it is fitting that Pluto, a full black cat, is the one that begins the chain of supernatural events in this story, looking at the name of the story. Allan Poe uses symbolism to show the readers that the connection between the two cats. One damaged dying both. Both are identical in every way except for a new-shaped white marking on the second cat's chest, which was no turn off as Pluto had been hung. Both follow the narrator everywhere, the second one even more so to keep his owner from forgetting. In the end, it does seem as though Pluto wasn't the only one to be rewoken after his murder, as it is indicated that the wife also arose, as a zombie most likely, and the narrator's troubles are far from over. The story doesn't go into much detail in terms of setting or description. All we are given is a mention of a town, that the narrator was poor, and that the first house had a garden and the second was old with some stairs in it. The white marking doesn't begin as a clear noose, but when its shape is clear, the narrator mentions it without naming it as the memory of hanging Pluto haunts him. The other pets are only mentioned at the start of the story to introduce the narrator as an animal lover, but are never mentioned again, even after the fire, so we don't know whether they survived until the end or if they died somewhere in the story. One of the main themes of the story seems to be the alcoholism, which was a topic of discussion at the time of that the Black Cat was written, depicting the impaired judgment by showing how the narrator, who loved cats, turned into this grouchy man who would harm anything in his path without thinking about who that someone may be. He is also uncomfortable with the remorse of his cat to death, that he hardly sleeps. So after his wife's murder, when he finally sleeps easy, there is no sign of remorse for his decision to kill her and hide her body. One thing we can note is that he can remember both events, so he either wasn't overly drunk at the time, or this isn't something they knew at the time of this story was written. And